Oddworld Soulstorm is a game I'm immensely looking forward to. It'd be a surprise if I said I wasn't. I think it's going to be a really good game. I would also recommend that people expect to be disappointed by it. And I don't say that because I actually think it will be disappointing, because I don't. I just expect to be disappointed by everything nowadays. I say that because the trend throughout my life, and I'm sure most, or at least tons of people will relate to this, has been that things get ruined. Franchises get ruined. Every single franchise I once loved has been ruined in recent years. That's an immensely depressing thought, but simply true, at least in my opinion. Doctor Who, Star Wars, The Last of Us, Star Trek, not even just in terms of franchises, just anything really. Every single thing I loved has gone or will go. All good things must come to an end. I guess that's why I'm so full of hatred and bitterness. I'm joking. I think / hope. I see a lot of people really looking forward to Oddworld Soulstorm, and so am I. I'm not saying you shouldn't look forward to it, I'm just saying you'll probably enjoy it more if you don't hold it to too high of a standard. If you don't expect too much from it, it'll probably be a better experience for you. And that's not because I don't think it will deliver, because I think it will. I think it'll be a really great Oddworld game. So don't allow your mind to spin what I'm saying into thinking I'm saying Soulstorm's going to be bad, because I'm not. I think it'll be really good. The team behind Oddworld Soulstorm, you know, it's led by Lorne Lanning, and it's got a lot of the people that worked on Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus working on it. I trust them to do great work like what they did back in the 90s. So chances are, in my opinion, Oddworld Soulstorm will likely be a very good game, and I'm looking forward to it immensely. But having lived for so long, I've come up with a saying that throughout my life I continuously see getting confirmed true again and again. Everything good in life exists for the purpose of being ruined. Again, immensely depressing, but I don't say that because I see everything as a downer in the world. I'm not naturally pessimistic, or at least I'd argue that I'm not. It's just what I've personally witnessed. It's like everything I once liked gets ruined. It's like every ounce of hope I'm given, I'm simply given so it can be taken away from me. A new Star Trek series is coming out after years of there being none. Oh wait, never mind, it's terrible. I don't like what Stephen Moffat's doing with Doctor Who, I'm glad he's leaving. Oh wait, Chris Chibnall is even worse. I'm looking forward to playing The Last of Us 2. Oh wait, it's an immensely depressing game that's a stain on its hopeful predecessor. It seems as though every single thing gets ruined eventually, no matter how good it once was. And it's sad, and I really hate it, but it just seems to be the way of the world apparently, at least from what I've witnessed. I like to think this fact pushes me to want to create good stuff, bring back glory to what I once loved. It makes fans strive to push the developers to make something great, because we know that they can, because they've done it before. My point is, Oddworld is a great franchise. It's my favourite gaming franchise, and probably has been pretty much all my life. It's so fascinating and interesting, and it really pleases me that so many people are still interested in Oddworld after all this time, and are looking forward to Oddworld Soulstorm. And I find it really exciting that Oddworld Inhabitants are finally making new stuff after years and years of absence and nothing. The Dark Ages. A brand new Oddworld game coming out is great big news for anyone with an interest in Oddworld. Be excited, I certainly am. But this video is basically just one big massive tip. Not even just with Oddworld Soulstorm, but in terms of life in general. I'm just saying, I've learnt that you'll probably enjoy it more if you don't expect too much from it. I think one thing Oddworld Inhabitants is dreadful at is managing hype. They drum up so much hype, and often in recent years they don't deliver. Ironically, I think because they're dreadful at managing their own expectations. They expect so much out of themselves, and then they change and expect even more out of themselves. And as a result, there's delays and all this sort of thing, you know. Oddworld Soulstorm has been hyped up massively. You know, they say it's the biggest thing Oddworld Inhabitants has ever done. Or I think they've said something like that, or whatever. You know, but I personally certainly don't expect it, in my opinion, to eclipse what is my favourite Oddworld game, Abe's Exodus. A game that was released over 2 decades ago. I don't expect it to get anywhere near to being that good, because it's one of my favourite games, you know. And that's my point. If I expected it to be as good as Abe's Exodus, I would suggest that I would be expecting too much from it, and then I'd probably be disappointed if it wasn't as good as my favourite game in the series. At the end of the day, Oddworld Soulstorm is a game. That's all it is. I'm looking forward to a new Oddworld as much as anyone. I think it's blatantly obvious that I love the lore, I love the games, I love the creativity of it, and I'm immensely looking forward to playing a new Oddworld game after so long. But I also don't expect too much from it, because that way, if it's a disappointment, I won't be too disappointed because I expected it. If it's good, which I think it will be, then it's like even better because I didn't have my hopes too high in the first place. And that's because it's so easy to get devastated by this sort of stuff. It doesn't happen to me really, because I don't let myself get too invested in anything. So if something disappoints me, it's like, oh okay, well that was disappointing. But I've seen so many people get utterly devastated because they expected so much from something, maybe rightly. Like Oddworld Inhabitants probably deserves to be held to account out, and to be held to high standards after all the hype they've done for Oddworld Soulstorm over the past, was it now half a decade near enough? They probably should be held to high standards after the fans have waited so long. I'm just saying, for my own personal enjoyment, I choose to hold very few things to extremely high standards, and looking at all the things that in my opinion have been ruined over the years, I'm very glad that I don't let myself get too invested in stuff that ultimately doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a game, or a TV program, or a film, or whatever the subject may be. Don't let yourself be disappointed over something that doesn't matter too much. Like, look forward to it, but don't get too invested into it or expect it to be like the greatest thing ever made or something. That's all I'm saying. That's just my personal advice. Anyway, I could be completely wrong, and ultimately it's up to every individual to act as they please. I just thought, because some people brought up how it seems like a lot of people get really invested into Oddworld Soulstorm and stuff in general, and I've seen concern expressed over how potentially that may not be a great idea. I guess this may have seemed incredibly depressing in some respects. What I'm saying might seem very nihilistic, but all I'm saying is just a personal life advice. Prepare for the worst, and if it is the worst, at least you were prepared for it. And if it isn't the worst, then it seems even better, you'll enjoy it even more, because it wasn't as bad as you'd been ready for. I felt it would at least be interesting to discuss this sort of thing anyway, not to be depressive, just because I think it's an interesting subject in general. But don't let what I've said here dissuade you from the excitement for the game. I'm excited for it, as I always have been. I'm just giving a tip that if you have lower expectations, then it's perhaps reasonable, like me. It may increase the enjoyment even further when you do finally get to experience Oddworld Soulstorm.
Hello, follow me.